There was a time when I would struggle to get to sleep each night and actually stay asleep. Forget the 8 hours a day, it was more like 4 to 5 hours at best. And it was at a time where I knew little about how my mind and body worked, how food and drink affected me, and how my state of mental health could affect the quality of my sleep. Sure, I understood things like stopping caffeine after lunch, but that was about it. I'd be going into work exhausted from the continued lack of much needed deep restful sleep. I'd find some relief on the weekends because I could rest for as long as I wanted, but it wasn't enough, and it had a negative knock-on effect, bringing a reluctance to do other things. And to add to my problem, I'd been having night terrors since about 5 years old. And on a few occasions, I'd wake up in a very stressed and panicked state and injure myself in the process. Believe me, I've got a few stories to tell. Like in most cases, I went to my local doctor for help. I wondered if they could give me advice or treatment to naturally improve my sleep and limit the chance of having night terrors. My doctor referred me to my hospital's mental health clinic, and they gave me general advice and offered to provide some sleeping pills. But can you guess what the potential side effect was from having these pills? Yeah, night terrors. I intuitively knew that these sort of pills were not a good long-term solution for me. They would address the symptoms, although, like I said, could make the symptoms worse, without addressing the underlying cause. And I wanted a more natural solution for this. I love nature. Walking through a forest, going alongside a river or at the seaside, it naturally relaxes me. Whilst in nature, I could feel that I could release pent-up tension, that I could take some of those much-needed stress-relieving deep breaths. And why is this? And for one, I was experiencing so much anxiety coupled with depression that it was difficult to be around people. So when I was in nature, not only was I surrounded by such natural beauty, but I was alone. Didn't have to be concerned about people's judgment or criticisms of me. I could feel more at ease. And I wondered how I could use this to improve my sleep. There was something innately comforting and soothing about a steady-paced river or a warm crackling fire in the background at a camping trip, or waves massaging back and forth along the coastline. It can be symbolic and can help us achieve a state of calm. A steady flowing river can symbolize letting go of distressing thoughts or feelings. A warm crackling fire can remind us of the comfort and warmth it brings in cold wintry nights. And the waves balanced in rhythm going back and forth can remind us of our own rhythmic, relaxed breathing. This can be emphasized when we're out in the evening in nature. We can become in tune with the natural cycle of day and night, awake and asleep. Our mind and body can know that the time for day and awakeness is ending, and the time for night and sleep is beginning, and nature and our body clock are in sync. I noticed a clear difference to the quality of my sleep when the last thing I did before I went to bed was be out in nature. No phones, no TV, nothing electrical around me. I could just walk through a woods or a field, anywhere, getting fresh air in the night, as long as it was in nature, and it would make a big difference to the quality of my sleep. My father lived in a rural area, but on occasion would come and visit me in the city. I recall him struggling to stay for long periods because the city would adversely affect his state of calmness. He would pick up on the high frequencies and busyness in the air. I mean, he was coming from a serene, relaxed countryside into a heavily populated tech city. Unsurprisingly, he never stayed over, and even if he did, I know he would struggle to sleep because of it. Concealed from our awareness are thousands of buzzing frequencies, electronic frequencies roaming through the air. These frequencies are definitely having an effect on our mind, and some are coming directly from what we are watching. So blue light from TVs, computers, your phone screen, means that it can affect our ability to sleep because it actively blocks melatonin, a hormone that makes us sleepy. And so this means that it can take us longer to get to sleep, and when we do, our quality of sleep may be impaired. So by going out in nature, we can be away from a lot of these underlying frequencies. May not be completely, but we can certainly be away from more of them. And particularly in the evening, if we're just out in nature, we can encourage more production of melatonin so that we can feel more at ease, ready to have a good night's sleep. As much as I wanted to keep being out in nature before bedtime, at times it just wasn't easy to do it. One of the reasons being I was living in the city, and it was not always convenient to find a place that was, had grass, trees, or a river, or away from the busyness. I wondered if I could at least bring the sounds of nature inside my home and see if that made a big difference to my sleep. I'd listen to recordings of things like rain in the forest, waves, fire crackling, all sorts. I'd have a routine. I'd go to bed at a certain time and I'd listen to these recordings through my MP3. It wasn't as effective as the real thing, but it was a good substitute. By enabling those associations, that symbolism of nature, I could signal my brain to relax. It was a somewhat sort of man-made, natural solution, which actually did make a big difference. Hearing sounds of nature whilst in bed was relaxing, but it also focused my mind. You see, part of the reason why I struggled to go to sleep was because of rumination. You know what I mean? Those obsessive, intrusive thoughts keep churning over and over in your head, and you just want to shut them up so you can go to sleep. Because I could feel relaxed and I was comfortable in bed listening to sounds of nature, it meant that my mind would be more focused on the recording rather than ruminating. It helped to quieten those intrusive thoughts, helping my mind to get into a state that was more conducive to sleep. And whether it's being out in nature, embracing it in the evening, or using a recording, like me, it may help you in just giving you that little bit more of a chance or more of an edge to get you into a more relaxed state, to give you a good quality sleep so you can feel more refreshed the next day. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your comments below. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.